Captain Jake Morrison stared at the strange symbols flashing across his computer screen. The signals had been coming from deep space for 3 days now, and his team aboard the exploration ship Terra Nova still could not figure out what they meant. Jake rubbed his tired eyes and took another sip of his coffee. He had been working for 18 hours straight trying to decode the mysterious messages. Dr. Lisa Chang burst into the command center, her face bright with excitement. She held a tablet in her hands and nearly dropped it as she rushed toward Jake's station. Lisa had been the lead scientist on the Terra Nova for 5 years, and Jake had never seen her this excited about anything. "Captain, we did it," Lisa said, breathing heavily. The computer finally cracked their language. These signals are not random. They are actual messages from another species. Jake stood up so fast that his chair rolled backward and hit the wall. The other crew members in the command center stopped their work and turned to listen. For months, Earth had been sending radio signals into space, hoping to find intelligent life. Now it seemed like someone had finally answered. "What do they say?" Jake asked. Lisa looked down at her tablet and read the translation aloud. "Greetings to the inhabitants of the third planet. We are the Galactic Council. We have been watching your world for many cycles. We wish to meet with your leaders and welcome you into our alliance of peaceful species." The command center fell silent. Jake felt his heart beating faster. This was the moment that would change human history forever. After years of wondering if Earth was alone in the universe, they finally had proof that other intelligent beings existed. Commander Rick Hayes walked over to Jake and Lisa. Rick was Jake's second in command and had served in the space fleet for 20 years. He was a calm man who rarely got excited about anything, but even he looked amazed by this news. "Captain, there's more," Lisa continued. "They want to send a delegation to meet with us, but they have some strange requests. They want to meet in space, not on Earth. They say they need to bring special equipment to protect themselves." "Protect themselves from what?" Rick asked. Lisa shrugged. "The message doesn't say. Maybe they're worried about our diseases or something." Jake thought about this for a moment. It made sense that alien beings might be concerned about Earth germs that could make them sick. After all, humans would probably take the same precautions when visiting an alien world. "Send a reply," Jake ordered. "Tell them we accept their invitation. Ask them where and when they want to meet." The response came back within an hour. The aliens wanted to meet at Earth's orbital station Harmony in 1 week. They would bring their own ships and equipment. They asked that only a small group of humans attend the meeting, and they requested that these humans undergo medical testing to ensure they were not carrying dangerous diseases. Jake spent the next week preparing for the most important meeting in human history. He selected a team of scientists, diplomats, and military officers to attend. Dr. Lisa Chang would represent Earth's scientific community. Professor Dan Miller, a language expert, would help with communication. Commander Rick Hayes would provide security. The day of the meeting arrived. Jake and his team waited aboard the orbital station Harmony, watching through the large windows as strange ships approached from deep space. The alien vessels looked nothing like human spacecraft. They were covered in a shimmering material that seemed to bend light around them. The ships moved in perfect formation, as if they were dancing through space. The largest alien ship docked with the station. Jake could hear the mechanical sounds of the docking process, but everything seemed to take much longer than normal. Through the station's cameras, he could see the aliens setting up some kind of equipment near the airlock. "They're taking a long time," Rick observed. "Maybe they're just being careful," Lisa said. "This is probably as big a moment for them as it is for us." Finally, the airlock opened. Jake's first glimpse of alien life was disappointing. The beings that entered the station were completely covered in what looked like thick environmental suits. He could not see their faces or bodies. They moved slowly and carefully as if they were afraid of everything around them. 3 aliens entered the station. The one in front stepped forward and spoke in a mechanical voice that came from a translator device. "I am Ambassador Zethkari of the Vorthan people. We greet you in the name of the Galactic Council." Jake stepped forward and extended his hand. "I am Captain Jake Morrison. Welcome to our space station. We are honored to meet you." The alien stepped backward quickly as if Jake's outstretched hand was dangerous. Please maintain distance. We must observe safety protocols. Jake lowered his hand, feeling confused. He had expected the aliens to be cautious, but this seemed extreme. The aliens were acting like humans were radioactive or something. Professor Dan Miller activated his recording equipment. Ambassador Zethkari, we are excited to learn about your civilization. How many species belong to your Galactic Council? 12 species have joined our alliance, the ambassador replied. We are peaceful beings who share knowledge and resources. We explore the galaxy together and help each other grow. That sounds wonderful, Lisa said. We hope humans can contribute to your alliance. The ambassador seemed to pause for a long moment. Your species presents unique challenges. We have studied your world from a distance. Earth is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld in our database. Jake felt confused. Deathworld? What does that mean? Your planet is extremely dangerous. Another alien spoke up. This one identified itself as Dr. Yilthara, a scientist. The conditions on your world should not support intelligent life, yet somehow your species not only survives but thrives there. Rick laughed. Dangerous? Earth is a pretty nice place to live. We have beautiful oceans, forests, and mountains. The weather is usually pleasant. The aliens seemed to back away further. Dr. Yilthara's translator device made strange noises, as if it was having trouble processing Rick's words. You speak of water that moves in vast quantities, Dr. Yilthara said. You mention atmospheric disturbances that you call pleasant. These things are terrifying to most galactic species. Lisa looked at Jake with a puzzled expression. I think there might be some kind of misunderstanding. Earth is actually a very stable, life-supporting planet. That's why we evolved there. Evolved. Ambassador Zethkari repeated the word slowly. Yes, we have studied your evolutionary history. It is the most disturbing scientific data we have ever encountered. Your species somehow adapted to survive in conditions that would kill any civilized being within moments. Jake was starting to feel frustrated. Look, I don't understand what you're talking about. Earth is not dangerous. Humans live there very comfortably. We swim in the oceans, hike in the mountains, and enjoy the weather. These are normal activities for us. The three aliens moved closer together, as if they were seeking protection from each other. Ambassador Zethkari's translator made a sound. That might have been the alien equivalent of a nervous cough. Captain Morrison, we must ask you directly. Do humans regularly expose themselves to the substance you call water? Of course, Jake replied. We drink it, bathe in it, and swim in it. Water is essential for human life. The aliens' translator devices began making rapid beeping sounds. Dr. Yilthara spoke in what sounded like an urgent tone to the other aliens, in their own language. This confirms our worst fears, Ambassador Zethkari said finally. Humans routinely expose themselves to a substance that dissolves most known materials. Your species bathes in a universal solvent and considers this normal behavior. Jake looked at his team members. They all wore the same confused expressions. Lisa stepped forward carefully. Ambassador, I think we need to have a longer conversation about this. It seems like there are some basic misunderstandings about Earth and human biology. Perhaps we could arrange a series of meetings to share information about our respective worlds? The ambassador considered this suggestion. Yes, that would be wise. We must understand how your species manages to survive on such a hostile world. This knowledge could be valuable to the Galactic Council, and we'd love to learn about your worlds too, Jake added. This is an exciting opportunity for both our species. As the meeting ended and the aliens returned to their ships, Jake felt both thrilled and confused. Humanity had made contact with an advanced alien civilization, but these beings seemed to think that Earth was some kind of nightmare planet. Jake wondered what other surprises were waiting as humans began to explore the galaxy with their new alien friends. Captain Jake Morrison stared at the strange symbols flashing across his computer screen. The signals had been coming from deep space for 3 days now, and his team aboard the exploration ship Terra Nova still could not figure out what they meant. Jake rubbed his tired eyes and took another sip of his coffee. He had been working for 18 hours straight trying to decode the mysterious messages. Dr. Lisa Chang burst into the command center, her face bright with excitement. She held a tablet in her hands and nearly dropped it as she rushed toward Jake's station. Lisa had been the lead scientist on the Terra Nova for 5 years, and Jake had never seen her this excited about anything. Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster walked through the research lab aboard the space station Harmony, checking on the equipment that had been set up for the joint human-alien study. 3 days had passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Council, and both sides had agreed to share scientific data about their respective worlds. Amy was excited to learn about alien planets, but she was also curious about why the aliens thought Earth was so dangerous. Dr. Kevin Wright, a biologist from Earth, was working with the alien scientist Dr. Yil Thara to compare atmospheric data. Kevin looked frustrated as he stared at the readings on his computer screen. He had been trying to understand the alien measurements for hours, but nothing made sense to him. "Amy, come look at this," Kevin called out. According to their data, most habitable planets in the galaxy have oxygen levels below 5%. They think our 21% oxygen atmosphere is like living inside a bomb. Amy walked over to Kevin's workstation and looked at the data. The alien measurements showed that Earth's atmosphere contained dangerous levels of what they called combustion gas. To the aliens, breathing Earth's air was like breathing pure rocket fuel. Dr. Yulthera approached them, wearing its thick protective suit. The alien scientist had not removed the suit once since arriving at the station. Through its translator device, Dr. Yulthera spoke in a nervous tone. "Human Kevin, we must ask you to demonstrate your breathing process while wearing safety monitors. Our scientists need to understand how your species survives in such a volatile atmosphere." Kevin looked at Amy and shrugged. "Sure, I guess. What do you want me to do?" "Simply breathe as you normally would," Dr. Yulthera replied. Kevin took a deep breath and let it out slowly. The aliens' monitoring equipment immediately began making loud warning sounds. Dr. Yulthara jumped backward so quickly that it bumped into a wall. "Impossible," the alien scientist whispered. "The readings show that you are processing combustion gas directly through your biological systems. This should cause immediate internal explosions." Amy started to laugh but stopped when she realized the alien was genuinely terrified. "Dr. Yulthera, oxygen is not dangerous to us. We need it to live. Our bodies are designed to use oxygen safely." Marine Colonel Susan Blake entered the lab at that moment, carrying a weather report from Earth. She had been asked to provide the aliens with information about Earth's climate conditions. Susan was a tough woman who had served in many difficult environments, but she had never imagined that anyone would consider Earth's weather to be scary. "The aliens wanted to know about our weather patterns," Susan said to Amy, "so I brought them a basic report about last month's conditions." Dr. Yulthara moved closer to examine the weather data, but kept a safe distance from the humans. As the alien scientist read the report, its translator device began making rapid clicking sounds. "This data cannot be accurate," Dr. Yulthara said. "It shows that water falls from your sky in solid and liquid forms. It indicates that your atmosphere moves at high speeds, creating what you call storms. It mentions ground vibrations that you call earthquakes." Susan nodded. "Yeah, that's pretty normal for Earth. We had a few thunderstorms last week and there was a small earthquake in California. Nothing too serious." The alien scientist moved even further away from Susan. "You speak of these catastrophic events as if they are minor inconveniences. Atmospheric disturbances that move at high speeds would destroy most civilized structures. Ground vibrations would cause panic and evacuation on any reasonable world." Dr. Paul Carter, a geologist, had been listening to the conversation from his workstation. He walked over to join the group carrying a tablet full of Earth geological data. "Dr. Yulthara, I think you might find Earth's geological activity interesting," Paul said. "We have active volcanoes, moving tectonic plates, and regular seismic activity. Humans have learned to live with these natural processes." The alien scientist's equipment began making emergency warning sounds again. Dr. Yulthara spoke rapidly in its own language as if calling for help from its colleagues. "Human Paul, you describe conditions that exist only in our most terrifying scientific theories. Molten rock emerging from planetary surfaces, land masses that move and collide. These are the conditions we expect to find in planetary formation zones, not on worlds with intelligent life. Amy was beginning to understand the scope of the misunderstanding. To the aliens, Earth was not just unusual, it was completely impossible. Everything that humans considered normal was like something from an alien horror movie. "Let me ask you something," Amy said to Dr. Yilthara. "What are conditions like on your home world?" The alien scientist seemed to calm down slightly when the conversation shifted away from Earth. "The Vorthan homeworld maintains stable atmospheric conditions. Our oxygen levels remain constant at 3.2%. Weather patterns follow predictable cycles with minimal variation. Geological activity ceased millions of years ago when our planet reached proper stability." Kevin looked amazed. "How do you get enough oxygen to support complex life at only 3.2%? "Our biology is adapted to efficient oxygen processing," Dr. Yilthara explained. "We cannot understand how your species functions in an atmosphere that is 7 times more concentrated with combustion gas." Susan laughed. "Well, it works for us. And it's not just oxygen. Humans can survive in all kinds of conditions that would probably seem crazy to you. We live in deserts, on mountains, near oceans, in forests. We adapt to whatever environment we find ourselves in." The alien scientist made what sounded like a distressed noise. "You voluntarily expose yourselves to multiple hostile environments, even when you have the choice to remain in safe locations?" "Sure," Paul said. "I've been to Antarctica, the Sahara Desert, and the bottom of the ocean in research submarines. These places are fascinating to study." Dr. Yilthara's translator device started making continuous beeping sounds. The alien scientist began speaking rapidly in its own language, and Amy could hear other alien voices responding through its communication system. "My colleagues are requesting confirmation of this data," Dr. Yilthara said finally. "They find it difficult to believe that an intelligent species would voluntarily travel to locations with extreme temperature variations, toxic atmospheric conditions, and unstable geological features." Amy looked around at her human colleagues. They all seemed as confused as she felt. To humans, exploration and adventure were normal parts of life. The idea that other species might find these activities terrifying had never occurred to any of them. "Dr. Yilthara, what do your people do for recreation and entertainment?" Amy asked. "We engage in contemplative activities within controlled environments. We study art, music, and literature in climate-controlled facilities. We participate in mental exercises that stimulate intellectual growth. All of these activities take place in locations with stable atmospheric conditions and predictable safety parameters." Kevin whistled softly. "That sounds pretty boring to me. Don't you ever want to see new places or try exciting activities?" "Excitement is not considered a positive experience by most galactic species," Dr. Yilthara replied. "Excitement indicates danger, unpredictability, and potential harm. Civilized beings seek calm, stable, predictable experiences." Susan shook her head. "But some of the best parts of being human come from challenging ourselves and experiencing new things. Mountain climbing, deep-sea diving, skydiving, racing. These activities make us feel alive." The alien scientist's equipment was now making constant alarm sounds. Dr. Yilthara moved to the far side of the lab, as if trying to get as far away from the humans as possible. "You describe activities that are designed to place your species in mortal danger for the purpose of entertainment. This confirms our analysis that humans are either the most resilient species in the galaxy or the most reckless." Amy realized that this was going to be a much longer conversation than anyone had expected. The differences between human and alien cultures were not just about biology or technology. They were about completely different ways of thinking about life, safety, and what it meant to be alive. "I think we need to set up more meetings," Amy said. "We have a lot to learn about each other." Dr. Yilthara was already preparing to leave the lab. "Yes, more research is essential. We must report these findings to the Galactic Council immediately. The implications of your species' survival on such a hostile world require extensive analysis." As the alien scientist left the lab, Amy looked at her human colleagues. They were all thinking the same thing. If the aliens thought Earth was dangerous, Wait until they learned about everything else humans did for fun. Dr. Rachel Green sat in the medical bay of the space station Harmony, preparing for what she hoped would be a routine medical examination. The aliens had requested to study human biology, and Rachel had volunteered to be their test subject. As Earth's leading biochemist, she was curious to learn about alien physiology and compare it to human biology. The alien scientist Nex Corey entered the medical bay wearing the thickest protective suit Rachel had ever seen. The suit looked more like armor than medical equipment, with multiple layers of shielding and air filtration systems. Nex Corey moved slowly and carefully, as if every step might trigger some kind of disaster. Human Rachel. We will begin with basic biological scans, Nex Corey said through its translator device. Please remain still while we analyze your internal systems. Rachel lay down on the examination table and tried to relax. The alien scanning equipment looked incredibly advanced, with devices that could apparently see through her body without using harmful radiation. She watched as data appeared on the alien screens showing detailed images of her organs, blood vessels, and cellular structure. Suddenly, Nex Corey made a sound that the translator could not convert into human language. The alien scientist backed away from Rachel so quickly that it knocked over several pieces of equipment. This cannot be accurate, Nex Corey said in what sounded like a panicked voice. The scans show that your blood contains metallic iron compounds. This is impossible. No intelligent species could survive with metal flowing through their biological systems. Rachel sat up on the examination table, feeling confused. Iron? You mean hemoglobin? That's perfectly normal for humans. Iron helps our blood carry oxygen throughout our bodies. You speak of this as if it is a natural process, Nex Corey replied, moving even further away from Rachel. Iron is a corrosive metal. It should destroy your internal organs within days of exposure. Rachel tried to explain human biology in simple terms. Our bodies are designed to use iron safely. We need iron to stay healthy. If humans don't get enough iron in their diet, we become sick and weak. The alien scientist was now standing near the exit door, as if ready to flee at any moment. You consume additional metal intentionally? This is beyond our understanding of possible biology. Dr. Kevin Wright entered the medical bay, carrying a tray of food and drinks. He had been asked to bring examples of typical human meals for the aliens to analyze. Kevin set the tray down on a table and smiled at Rachel. How's the examination going? Kevin asked. Not so well, Rachel replied. Nex Corey is having trouble understanding human blood chemistry. Kevin looked at the food tray and then at the terrified alien scientist. Well, maybe we should start with something simpler. Nex Corey, would you like to analyze some typical human food? The alien scientist approached the food tray cautiously, keeping maximum distance while still being able to scan the items. Kevin had brought a simple meal consisting of coffee, a sandwich with vegetables, and some fruit. To humans, it was the most basic kind of lunch possible. Nex Corey's scanning equipment immediately began making loud warning sounds. The alien scientist jumped backward so fast that it hit the wall behind it. These substances are highly toxic, Nex Corey announced. The black liquid contains multiple alkaloid compounds that should cause immediate nervous system failure. The plant materials contain capsaicin and other chemical warfare agents. Kevin picked up the coffee cup and took a sip. This is just coffee. Humans drink this every day. It helps us stay awake and alert. The alien's translator device made sounds that seemed like electronic screaming. You are consuming neurotoxic alkaloids voluntarily. For recreational purposes? Rachel got off the examination table and joined Kevin near the food tray. What about the sandwich? That's just bread, meat, cheese, and vegetables. Nex Corey pointed. A scanning device at the sandwich from across the room. The plant matter contains compounds that our database identifies as natural pesticides. The preserved animal protein shows signs of bacterial fermentation. The white substance appears to be concentrated animal fat mixed with bacterial cultures. That's just cheese, Kevin said, taking a bite of the sandwich. It's made from milk and it's perfectly safe to eat. The alien scientist was now calling for backup through its communication system. Rachel could hear other alien voices responding with what sounded like alarm and disbelief. Colonel Matt Thompson entered the medical bay, wearing his exercise clothes and carrying a water bottle. He had just finished his daily workout routine and looked slightly tired but healthy. Matt was surprised to see the alien scientist pressed against the far wall as if hiding from something dangerous. "What's going on in here?" Matt asked. "We're having trouble explaining human biology to our alien friend," Rachel replied. "Next, Corey thinks everything about humans is impossible or deadly." Matt took a drink from his water bottle and wiped sweat from his forehead. The alien scientist's equipment detected the movement and began scanning Matt from a distance. "Impossible," Next Corey whispered. "The scans show that this human has been engaging in deliberate physical stress. His body temperature is elevated, his heart rate is increased, and he is losing bodily fluids through his skin." "I just finished exercising," Matt explained. "I run 5 miles every morning to stay in shape." The alien scientist made that untranslatable sound again. "You intentionally stress your biological systems to the point of fluid loss and elevated cardiac function. This should result in system failure and death." Matt laughed. "Exercise makes us stronger and healthier. Most humans do some form of physical activity every day." Dr. Julia Adams, a sports medicine specialist, arrived at the medical bay carrying her medical equipment. She had been asked to demonstrate human physical capabilities for the alien scientists. Julia was an expert on human athletic performance and had worked with Olympic athletes for many years. "I heard you were having trouble explaining human biology," Julia said to the group. "Maybe I can help with some demonstrations." Next, Corey retreated even further when Julia entered the room. "No more demonstrations," the alien scientist pleaded. "We have already documented impossible biological processes. Additional data might overwhelm our analysis systems." Julia looked confused. "What's so impossible about human biology?" Rachel explained what they had discovered so far. "Next, Corey can't understand how we survive with iron in our blood, how we can eat foods that contain natural toxins, or how we can exercise without dying." "Oh, that's just basic human stuff," Julia said. "Wait until you hear about extreme sports. Humans do amazing things with their bodies." Julia pulled up a video on her tablet showing various human athletic achievements. She showed footage of marathon runners, mountain climbers, deep-sea divers, and gymnasts. Each activity demonstrated human physical capabilities that went far beyond what the aliens considered possible. Next, Corey watched the video through its protective equipment, and its translator device began making continuous distress signals. These activities should be fatal to any known biological organism. Humans are operating in temperature extremes, pressure variations, and oxygen-depleted environments that would kill most galactic species instantly. "This is just regular human athletic activity," Julia explained. "Some people do this professionally, others do it for fun. The human body is designed to handle these kinds of challenges." The alien scientist was now speaking rapidly in its own language to its colleagues. Through the communication system, Rachel could hear multiple alien voices responding with what sounded like shock and disbelief. "My research team cannot accept this data without additional verification," Next Corey announced. "We must request that you provide documented evidence of these biological capabilities from multiple human subjects." Matt grinned. "No problem. We can get you all the documentation you want. Humans love to keep records of their achievements." "We have medical data from thousands of athletes," Julia added. "We can show you exactly how the human body adapts to different types of physical stress." The alien scientist seemed to be having some kind of internal crisis. "If this data is accurate, then humans represent a biological impossibility. Your species has evolved capabilities that should not exist according to all known scientific principles." Rachel looked at her human colleagues. They were all healthy, normal people who ate regular food, exercised regularly, and lived ordinary lives by human standards. The idea that their basic biology was impossible seemed absurd to them. "Maybe the problem is not that humans are impossible," Rachel suggested. "Maybe the problem is that other species evolved in much safer, more predictable environments. We evolved on Earth, so we're adapted to Earth conditions." Next, Corey considered this possibility. You suggest that your hostile environment forced your species to develop extreme biological adaptations for survival? Exactly, Kevin said. We evolved to thrive in conditions that seem dangerous to you, but they're just normal life for us. The alien scientist was quiet for a long moment. This theory would explain many of our observations. However, it also suggests that humans are fundamentally different from all other known intelligent species in the galaxy. As Nex Corey prepared to leave the medical bay, Rachel realized that this biological analysis was just the beginning. Admiral Frank Lewis walked into the entertainment center aboard the space station Harmony, where he had arranged a cultural exchange program with the alien delegation. Frank thought it would be a good idea for the aliens to learn about human culture through movies, documentaries, and music. He had carefully selected what he considered to be peaceful, educational content that would help build understanding between the two species. 3 alien representatives sat in specially designed chairs at the back of the room, wearing their protective suits and keeping maximum distance from the human crew members. Ambassador Zethkari, Dr. Yilthara, and Nexakori had agreed to participate in the cultural exchange, though they seemed nervous about the entire process. Captain Ellen Davis had set up a large screen and prepared a selection of nature documentaries about Earth. She thought these would be safe, educational films that would help the aliens understand Earth's environment and wildlife. Ellen had chosen programs about ocean life, forest ecosystems, and mountain environments. We'll start with a documentary about Earth's oceans, Ellen announced to the group. This will show you the beautiful underwater world that covers most of our planet. The documentary began with stunning footage of coral reefs, colorful fish, and underwater landscapes. Ellen watched the aliens for their reaction, expecting them to be amazed by Earth's natural beauty. Instead, she noticed that their scanning equipment was making increasingly urgent warning sounds. Ambassador Zethakari spoke up first. Captain Davis, this footage shows humans entering the ocean environment voluntarily. Are these individuals being punished for crimes? Ellen looked confused. No, these are marine biologists studying ocean life. They're swimming and diving because they enjoy it and want to learn about sea creatures. The alien equipment began making rapid beeping sounds. Dr. Yilthara stood up from its chair and moved even further away from the screen. The humans in this recording are exposing themselves to a corrosive chemical solution while surrounded by predatory organisms, Dr. Yilthara said. This activity should result in immediate death by chemical burns or predator attacks. Ellen paused the documentary and tried to explain. Swimming is one of humanity's favorite recreational activities. The ocean isn't dangerous to us. We've been swimming in oceans, lakes, and rivers for thousands of years. The documentary continued, showing footage of humans surfing during a storm, diving to explore underwater caves, and swimming with sharks. Each scene caused the alien equipment to make louder alarm sounds. Stop the recording, Ambassador Zethkari demanded. We cannot process this level of reckless behavior. These humans are participating in activities that appear designed to ensure their own destruction. Ellen switched to a different documentary about mountain climbing and hiking. She thought this would be less disturbing to the aliens since it didn't involve water. The film showed beautiful mountain landscapes and skilled climbers ascending rock faces and snow-covered peaks. The reaction from the aliens was even worse. Next, Corey began speaking rapidly in its own language, and Ellen could hear other alien voices responding through their communication systems with what sounded like panic. This footage shows humans deliberately ascending unstable geological formations. During adverse weather conditions, Next Corey reported, they are exposing themselves to altitude sickness, temperature extremes, and gravitational hazards. Why do they do this? Mountain climbing is a popular sport on Earth, Ellen replied. People climb mountains for exercise, adventure, and to enjoy beautiful views. The aliens seem to be having some kind of collective crisis. Ambassador Zethkari was consulting with its colleagues through their communication system, and Ellen could hear multiple alien voices speaking in urgent tones. Frank decided to try a different approach. Maybe we should show them some human entertainment. Instead of documentaries, something fictional that might be easier to understand. Ellen switched to a collection of popular movies that she thought would represent human culture well. She started with an action movie that featured a human hero overcoming various challenges to save the day. The film included car chases, explosions, fights, and dangerous stunts. The aliens watched in horror as the human character jumped between buildings, survived explosions, and engaged in physical combat with multiple opponents. Their equipment was now making continuous alarm sounds, and all three aliens had moved to the far corner of the room. This recording depicts a human surviving multiple fatal encounters, Dr. Yilthara observed. Explosions, impacts, falls from great heights, and physical violence, yet the character continues to function normally, Frank tried to explain. It's just a movie. The stunts are performed by trained professionals with safety equipment. Nobody actually gets hurt. You create fictional entertainment based on scenarios involving mortal danger? Ambassador Zethkari asked. For recreational purposes? Ellen nodded. Action movies are very popular. People like exciting stories with adventure and challenge. She switched to a horror movie thinking it might be interesting to show the aliens how humans enjoyed being scared in a safe environment. The reaction was immediate and dramatic. All three aliens activated what appeared to be emergency protocols, and their communication systems began broadcasting distress signals. Stop the recording immediately, next Corey demanded. We are detecting psychological warfare tactics designed to induce terror and panic. Why would humans subject themselves to this kind of mental assault? It's just entertainment, Ellen explained. Horror movies are designed to be scary, but people watch them for fun. They know it's not real. The aliens seemed unable to comprehend this concept. Ambassador Zethkari spoke to its colleagues in their own language before addressing the humans. Again, humans voluntarily expose themselves to stimuli designed to trigger fear responses for recreational purposes. Frank decided to try something completely different. Let's show them a romantic comedy. That should be safe and peaceful. The romantic comedy featured scenes of humans dating, falling in love, and dealing with relationship challenges. Even this apparently harmless content caused problems for the aliens. They were disturbed by scenes showing humans eating in restaurants, walking in parks during rainstorms, and participating in various social activities. The humans in this recording are consuming unknown substances in public locations, Dr. Yilthara noted. They are exposing themselves to atmospheric water while engaging in emotional bonding rituals. These behaviors seem designed to increase vulnerability to multiple threats. Ellen turned off the entertainment system and looked at Frank. They were both realizing that even the most innocent human activities appeared dangerous and incomprehensible to the aliens. General Carl Mason entered the entertainment center at that moment, carrying a briefing folder. Carl had been asked to discuss human military history with the alien military attaché, War Commander Thexlor, who had just arrived from the alien fleet. War Commander Thexler was larger than the other aliens and wore what appeared to be military-grade protective equipment. The alien military leader took one look at the human entertainment setup and immediately activated additional defensive systems. General Mason, we have reviewed your species' historical records, War Commander Thexler announced. We must discuss the implications of human military capabilities. Carl opened his briefing folder and prepared to give a standard presentation about human military history. He had planned to focus on peacekeeping operations and humanitarian missions to show that human military forces were primarily defensive in nature. Humans have occasionally engaged in conflicts throughout our history, Carl began. But we've learned to resolve most disputes through diplomacy and cooperation. War Commander, Thexler interrupted him. Our analysis indicates that humans have survived multiple extinction-level events, ice ages, asteroid impacts, volcanic catastrophes, and global climate changes. Yet your species not only survived, but continued to develop technologically. Carl nodded. Yes, humans are pretty resilient. We've adapted to changing conditions and learned from difficult experiences. More disturbing is our discovery that humans have intentionally created some of these catastrophic conditions through warfare and environmental destruction, War Commander Thexler continued. Yet your species recovered from self-inflicted disasters and became stronger. Carl was starting to understand why the aliens found humans so alarming. Well, yes, humans have made some mistakes in the past, but we've learned to be more careful about environmental protection and peaceful conflict resolution. War Commander Thexler consulted its data files. Humans developed weapons capable of destroying entire planets, then chose not to use them. You created industrial processes that damaged your global environment, then developed technologies to reverse the damage. You survived wars that should have eliminated your civilization, then rebuilt stronger societies. That's just human nature, Carl replied. We make mistakes, learn from them, and try to do better next time. The alien military leader was quiet for a long moment. General Mason, this pattern of behavior suggests that humans view catastrophic challenges as opportunities for growth and improvement. This is unprecedented in galactic military analysis. Dr. Nathan Price stood before the assembled representatives of the Galactic Council, feeling nervous but determined. 2 weeks had passed since the cultural exchange disaster, and the aliens had spent that time in urgent conferences about what to do with humanity. Nathan had been chosen to lead a final diplomatic mission that would decide whether humans could join the galactic community or if they would be considered too dangerous to interact with. The Galactic Council chamber was massive, with representatives from 12 different alien species arranged in a circle around the central speaking area. Nathan could see that all of the aliens were wearing protective equipment and keeping maximum distance from the human delegation. The atmosphere in the room felt tense and uncertain. Ambassador Zethkari spoke first, addressing the assembled council members. Fellow representatives, we have completed our analysis of the human species and their homeworld. Our findings are unprecedented and disturbing. Humans have evolved on a Class 12 Deathworld under conditions that should make intelligent life impossible. Murmurs of concern rippled through the alien representatives. Nathan could hear their translator devices creating a symphony of worried sounds in dozens of different languages. However, Ambassador Zethkari continued, we have also discovered that humans possess capabilities that may be valuable to our galactic community. We must decide how to proceed with this unique situation. Nathan stepped forward to address the council. Honored representatives, I understand that humans seem strange and dangerous to you, but we come in peace, seeking friendship and cooperation with all galactic species. War Commander Thexler stood up from its position among the military advisors. Human Nathan, our concern is not about your intentions. Our concern is about your capabilities. Humans represent an unknown variable in galactic stability. Dr. Yilthara activated its holographic display, showing the data that had been collected about human biology and behavior. The evidence shows that humans are adapted to survive in conditions that would instantly kill most galactic species. Your biology processes toxins as nutrition. Your culture celebrates activities that we classify as suicidal. Your history shows repeated survival through extinction-level events. Nathan looked around at the alien faces, trying to think of a way to address their concerns. Suddenly, he had an idea. What if we could use these differences to help everyone? Nathan suggested. Instead of seeing human adaptations as threats, what if we viewed them as solutions to problems that other species cannot solve? The council chamber fell silent. Ambassador Zethkari leaned forward with interest. Explain this proposal. Nathan activated his own display, showing footage of human rescue operations and engineering projects. Humans can work in environments that are deadly to other species. We can go places and do things that would require expensive robotic systems or specialized equipment for other galactic civilizations. Commander Sophie Clark, who had been standing quietly beside Nathan, stepped forward. I'd like to volunteer for a demonstration. If there are any rescue missions or dangerous operations that need to be completed, I can show you how human capabilities might be useful. War Commander Thexler consulted with its colleagues before responding. There is currently an emergency situation on mining station Kepler 7. The station's life support systems have failed, creating atmospheric conditions that are toxic to all known galactic species. We have been unable to send rescue teams because of the hostile environment. Sophie nodded confidently. What are the specific conditions? The atmospheric oxygen content has risen to 15% due to system malfunctions, War Commander Thexler replied. The temperature has increased to 35 degrees Celsius. There are also electrical storms and structural instabilities throughout the facility. The alien representatives made sounds of horror at this description. To them, these conditions represented a hellish environment that no living being could survive. Sophie smiled. That sounds like a pretty normal day on Earth. I can handle those conditions easily. Within hours, Sophie was aboard a rescue shuttle heading for mining station Kepler 7. The alien rescue coordinators watched in amazement as she entered the damaged station, wearing only basic protective gear. The conditions that had forced them to abandon their rescue efforts were merely uncomfortable for Sophie. She moved through the station efficiently, locating the trapped alien workers and helping them reach escape pods. The alien miners had been slowly dying from oxygen poisoning and heat exposure, but Sophie worked in the hostile environment as if it were her natural habitat. Engineer Bobby Turner joined the rescue operation, using his technical skills to repair the station's life support systems. Bobby worked in areas where the alien repair teams couldn't function, fixing equipment in superheated chambers and electrically charged environments. This is incredible, Dr. Yilthara reported to the Galactic Council. The humans are operating in conditions that our robotic systems cannot handle. They are completing repairs that would have required months of specialized equipment preparation. As news of the successful rescue spread throughout the galactic community, attitudes toward humanity began to change. Instead of viewing humans as dangerous anomalies, alien civilizations started to see them as invaluable specialists for extreme environment operations. Ambassador Helen Rogers took advantage of this shift in perception to negotiate humanity's entry into the Galactic Council. She proposed a unique arrangement that would benefit both humans and alien species. Humans will serve as the galaxy's extreme environment specialists, Helen explained to the Council. We will take on missions and operations that are too dangerous for other species. In exchange, we ask for full membership in the galactic community and access to your advanced technologies and knowledge. The alien representatives discussed this proposal extensively. Finally, Ambassador Zethkari announced the Council's decision. The Galactic Council agrees to accept humanity as a member species with specialized status. Humans will be designated as environmental hazard specialists, responsible for operations in extreme conditions that exceed the safety parameters of other galactic species. Captain Jake Morrison, who had been present for the original first contact, felt proud as he watched. The formal signing ceremony? Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not despite their dangerous world and unusual adaptations, but because of them. Over the following months, human teams were called to assist with dozens of challenging operations throughout the galaxy. They worked in the cores of gas giant planets where the pressure and heat would crush any other species. They explored the surfaces of volcanic worlds where alien equipment would melt within minutes. They dove into the acidic oceans of chemically hostile planets to retrieve valuable resources. Dr. Lisa Chang established the first human research station on an alien world, studying extremophile organisms in conditions that no other galactic species could survive. Her work led to breakthroughs in biotechnology that benefited the entire galactic community. Colonel Matt Thompson led human military units in joint operations with alien forces, providing capabilities that complemented the advanced technology of other species. Human soldiers could operate in environments where alien equipment failed, while alien technology provided humans with tools and weapons far beyond Earth's capabilities. The partnership between humans and aliens proved to be incredibly successful. Humans gained access to faster-than-light travel, advanced medical technology, and scientific knowledge accumulated over millions of years. Alien civilizations gained access to human problem-solving skills, adaptability, and the ability to operate in previously impossible conditions. Dr. Rachel Green worked with alien scientists to develop new medical treatments based on human biological adaptations. The iron-based blood chemistry that had horrified alien doctors turned out to be the key to developing treatments for several galactic diseases. Professor Dan Miller established translation and communication protocols that helped different species understand each other better. His work on human language patterns led to improvements in galactic communication technology. As time passed, the aliens' fear of humans transformed into respect and admiration. Young alien students studied human history and biology, amazed by the resilience and creativity that had allowed humanity to thrive on such a hostile world. War Commander Thexler, who had initially been most concerned about human military capabilities, became one of humanity's strongest advocates. Humans have taught us that strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from learning to overcome them, Thexler reported to the Galactic Military Command. Captain Jake Morrison reflected on humanity's journey from first contact to full galactic integration as he stood on the observation deck of the new human embassy station. Earth was visible in the distance, looking peaceful and beautiful. It was hard to believe that this lovely blue world was considered the galaxy's most dangerous planet. Dr. Lisa Chang joined Jake at the observation window, carrying a report about the latest human mission to explore a radioactive asteroid field that had been inaccessible to other species. "Do you ever think about how strange this all is?" Lisa asked. "We spent years wondering if we were alone in the universe. Now it turns out we're the galaxy's emergency response team.